I cheated because I thought my husband cheated. Turns out he didn't, so he left the house without saying a word. Hi, I will try to keep this as short as I can. I apologize in advance from his spellings and bad grammar. I am not from an English-speaking country. Originally, I'm from Europe. I've been together with my husband for over 6 years. We have been married for 4 years and have a 20-month-old son together. We met through a friend's home party and connected. Almost immediately, he started talking to me first. Even the first time meeting him, he was incredibly handsome, very confident, and charming. I know several of the girls, including some of my friends, wanting to talk to him when we were there, but within the first 10 minutes of arriving to the party, he came over to me. I really don't know any perfect word to use of how I felt at that moment, but if I had to pick, I felt almost chosen by him. We started dating a few days after, and the more time we started spending together, the more I started to fall for him. I have always had the feeling of him being completely out of my league, but meeting him, he never really made me feel unsure that he wanted to be with me, and I knew in beforehand he had been with plenty of women, but it didn't really bother me because he never spoke of it or ever mentioned it. The few times I asked him if he really wanted a relationship or if he was sure about us, he always told me he loved me and that he does not care about other women. After 2 years, we ended up getting married. We tried having a child and got a beautiful son. He always wished to have a son and a daughter, and we were planning on having another child. I always loved my husband more than anyone can imagine, but after giving birth, I gained a bit of weight. He always told me he didn't care, that he loved me no matter what. He suggested I could start training with him. He goes to the gym at least 4 to 5 times a week, and that we could start this as an activity together. I always said yes, but we never ended up going together for several different reasons. He never got out of shape and regularly went training in the gym without trying to invite me there. As time moved on and the baby was taking most of our time, our sex life got less and less, but he always assured me that he was still attracted to me. Most of the time he would try to initiate sex, but I would turn it down, mostly because of myself and because I was insecure about my body and myself around him. This is still a huge regret for me. He even told me we could leave the baby at our parents', his or mine, to get alone time. But for some reason I kept neglecting him. My self-esteem kept becoming worse and worse. He was trying to cheer me up and encouraging me when we would go out somewhere. I could see other women looking at him or trying to make a contact with him, and it would bother me. And I would tell him about it, and he would assure me he only loved me. One day, as he came home from work, long work hours at the hospital, and he went straight to bed, telling me he is exhausted, I started looking into his phone and looking at his Instagram and Messenger messages, and I could see several chats with different women, some of who I know are his ex-girlfriends. He had been asked to go meet for a coffee, or if they would want to meet up somewhere just as friends, but he always turned them down. I even saw archived messages of an ex who had messaged him out of the blue and asked if he wanted to meet up for good times, which is referring to sex. He had responded with "I have a wife," and blocked her. I really don't know why, but in my head I started making up that he must have been cheating on me with at least one of these girls. I ended up contacting an ex-boyfriend who I hadn't talked to for years. One thing led to another, and we met up at a hotel close by. At first, I just wanted some sort of payback, but as we ended up having sex, I was filled with incredible regret. This all happened during the day, and my husband was at work and had no idea and never had a suspicion. It took me 3 days, and as he came home one day and we were in front of the television, I started crying and told him everything. He just kept looking at me but didn't say a single word. Went upstairs and locked the door to our bedroom. I followed him and was crying at the door, but he didn't say a single word to me. It took him a long time, but he finally came out, but immediately left the house, and I haven't heard a single word from him. He didn't even say anything to me when leaving and was not even looking at me. I have tried to call him at least hundreds of times, but he still hasn't responded, and I have no idea where he has gone. This all happened yesterday, and I haven't heard a word from him. I am scared to contact his or my own family because I am scared for them to find out. Please, I really don't know what to do and just want to save my marriage. I have an incredible feeling of disgust and regret, and I don't even know why I didn't trust him. I know most of this roots down in my own insecurities, but I just want my husband back. He has left me alone with our baby. How can I get in contact with him? What can I do to save my marriage? I apologize once again for bad grammar. My native language is not English, and I am crying as I write this update. Hi, sorry for the lack of response on my last post, but my life has been completely ruined. I've only gotten A ton of hatred both on my posts and in my inbox to the few people who gave me real advice from the heart. I am thankful. To the rest of you, IW reply, my life is completely ruined. I hate myself more than anything and just wish I can get my husband back. I really don't know how to move on from here. He came home for a few hours yesterday before packing up and leaving again. When he finally came home, he didn't say anything, went straight to our son and refused to say a word to me, even though I kept crying. He told me he wanted some alone time with our son. At first, I thought he came to see our son and later wanted to discuss, but after some time he started packing a bag and I panicked. I started crying and begging him to stay and to talk about it. I took the advice of being completely transparent and told him I would tell him everything he asked, but he just stood up, looked at me in a disgusted, cold way, and told me I don't want to know anything. I know all that I need to know. Then he just went over and took some more things to put in the bag. I completely panicked and started saying I love him and will do anything to get him back, that I had stopped the sex midway because I felt guilty. In the middle of that sentence, he pushed me to the wall and held my arm and screamed, I told you to shut the up. I have never seen him so angry and disgusted, and for a moment I thought he would hit me, but he never did. I tried to hug him, but he refused to touch me and told me I am used and broken to him now, and that he wants nothing to do with me. This completely broke me inside. I asked what this meant, and he said we will be getting divorced. The only thing he wants right now is to be able to meet our son whenever he wants, but other than that he wants nothing to do with me. Later the same night, he called me on the phone and told me he will be contacting a lawyer and that he wants a divorce. I don't know what happens now. I've been crying constantly since this all happened. I'm having panic attacks and I can't eat or sleep. He saw me completely broken, but he still wants nothing to do with me and wants a divorce. I have so much remorse. I almost feel like a constant pressure in my chest and as if I'm having cramps in my stomach. I still haven't been able to contact our families and I don't know if he has either. I am too embarrassed to do that. I just want my life back. I really can't imagine seeing a life without him or him being with another woman. My life has crashed into 1,000,000 pieces and I'm just trying to pick them up and glue them together. Has anyone been able to convince their BP to come back? Is there anything I can do? I want to die but can't for the sake of my son, please. Reddit, I hate myself more than you can imagine. I know how disgusting and stupid I am, and trust me, I'm paying the price. I just want advice on how I can get him back. Final update. I just thought I would make an update since so many people are asking me for it. Unfortunately, it won't be a good one. My now ex-husband is going through with divorce. He has not initiated it yet, but told me he is planning on doing so after New Year's. I had completely forgot we had signed an agreement before the marriage. It's a legal agreement in my country that states he keeps what he came into the marriage with as well as the money he earned separately during our marriage. We have had a joint account during the marriage, but he always put half his salary into a separate account that I cannot touch. This money was supposed to be for our future and our child, and since he earns at least 10 times what I earn, he kept putting money aside for us to use in the future. That money I can't touch. According to him, he told me he will split the money in our joint account and give me half, even though all of it is pretty much his, but I will not get anything more than this financially. I really don't know how to move on from here. I know his life will be completely fine since he earns a lot more than me, but I feel as if all our past and memories meant nothing. For to be honest, I had completely even forgot we wrote this type of agreement in the first hand. I feel like a complete idiot because at the time of our wedding he was not earning as much as he is now, and I know he will be making more in the future. I am at a complete loss. My life has fallen into a dark pit and I don't know how to get out. I am starting to accept the situation more, but not even 1/1,000,000th progress. Mentally, I feel a lot has happened, but I barely have any energy to write it all out currently. I'm only trying to figure out how I will be able to live a normal lifestyle after the divorce. Working was always an option for me because of my husband and because he wanted to give me the freedom of doing what I wanted with my time. Now I have to plan my life and start a full-time job just to be able to afford living expenses for me and my child. Meanwhile, my now ex-husband gets to move on as if nothing has happened without any sort of financial struggles. It's as if doesn't care even for a split second what happens to me. Sorry for the rant. I will try to answer as many questions as possible, but I don't have much more to say about my life situation. I might update in the future, but as of now I'm not so sure what will happen. Story 2. Now story 2. My girlfriend Tana got my best friend's wife pregnant and physically assaulted her, but I made her regret it, so I'll give some backstory here because there was already tension Prior to this incident, I and my best friend have been best friends for over 20 years. We are now 28 and 27. He doesn't like sharing any of his business. This also applied when he started dating his now wife, 26. I didn't even know till they had officially become a couple, and I hadn't met her until after their 1-year anniversary. Best friend asked me to not tell my girlfriend about is because my girlfriend is pretty talkative and would have told others. I didn't see a problem with this as my best friend and GF didn't really talk much, and me and my GF never talked about him. About 3 years ago, my best friend posted about his 3-year anniversary with his girlfriend, and all of our friends were shocked as none of them knew he was seeing anyone. My girlfriend got upset with me for knowing this information and keeping it a secret from her. We had a fight but resolved it. I've suggested double dates since, but she has never been interested. She didn't even come to my best friend's wedding. Fast forward to now, our friend group always takes a vacation every year. My best friend wife has never come, so all of our friends only met her at the wedding. This year we were set to go skiing. Something happened and we couldn't make it our original destination, so we ended up coming to my best friend's house. Everyone was excited because they get to see best friend's wife. While at the house, I got really sick from the food we had at the airport. I had stomach aches and the worst headache humanly possible. Best friend's wife is one of those herbal medicine people, so she made me some tea and did some trick with pulling my hair to relieve the headache, which worked instantly. She had made dinner. My girlfriend refused to eat and insisted she wasn't hungry. Cool. We complimented the cooking and went to sleep early. My girlfriend has refused to talk to best friend wife and has been upset this entire trip. She has been mocking best friend's wife's accent. She's from Congo. And we talked about it, and she finally stopped. The last pair of people we had been waiting for arrived super late last night, so today we hung out at the house and had dinner together. There have been a lot of attention on best friend's wife, as no one really knows her. My girlfriend got angry and started mocking her accent in front of everyone. Best friend glared at me, and it got really awkward. I spoke with GF outside, and she started crying really loud and backed on some plant stand and accidentally knocked it over, which made a noise. Best friend wife came to check up, and before I knew it, my girlfriend punched her face and she started crying. My best friend came to this, and now once my girlfriend gone. In the morning with the holidays, no nice hotels near us are available. GF doesn't care and is sleeping on the couch. I've apologized to my friend and his wife several times, but I'm completely pissed at my girlfriend. She doesn't normally act like this. She hasn't been clear on her feelings or thoughts leading up to now. This is definitely going to leave a dent in my friendship. I don't know what more to do here. Edit for everyone saying there is more to the story. No, there really isn't. This is as much I know. That's why I'm really clueless about what to do here. Also, the reason we didn't leave immediately last night is because we drove up here with 2 other people. Would it be fair to them? I'll address everything else later. Just needed some input. Update. This is the last post. Hopefully sorry for a late update. I've been pretty occupied and I tried posting recently with some pictures, but my post was taken down and I wasn't able to post. But this whole thing was a huge misunderstanding. About 2 after I had been back at my friend's house, she responded to my messages and wanted to talk. At the time, I was really upset, so I called her and we ended exchanging some awful words to each other. That night, she called my friend in front of me and was crying, "We don't deserve this," and which had us both confused until she explained to him that his wife was pregnant by me, which is not the case. Side note, there is one part of the story I didn't mention because I didn't think it was relevant to the story, and it was also very private. Some days before trip, my friend's wife called me about finding out she was pregnant. She wanted to surprise her husband during New Year's and basically needed my help since her friend wasn't able to come while I was there. We did take a moment and she raised her concerns with me as she was getting nervous about the announcement. We were in private and hadn't thought much about this after I did find out. However, my girlfriend heard us and thought the wife was pregnant by me. His wife was sleeping at the time of the call, so I tried telling them that wasn't the case. He went through her phone and found threads and threads of messages she's had with her mom and best friend, and including me, starting from when she found out, which we hadn't seen each in months. I ended up going to pick her up so we could talk some more. We talked for some time where she revealed that she thought she was pregnant during the whole trip. She was too scared to get tested, so we stayed in a hotel that night and then got her tested next morning. Surely enough, she was pregnant. She has come back to apologize to my friend and his wife, and they were really understanding since it was due to a huge misunderstanding. We've been back since and have been trying to figure out everything. We aren't exactly ready to be back in the relationship since we both shared some really bad words to each other. It's been a lot past few months as her parents have discovered the pregnancy and want her to terminate. I have offered to marry her since they're saying they're traditional, but that hasn't worked for now. There's no contact, and that has taken up some of the stress. We are both working out our relationship still, but we are excited about our son. I can't go through all the comments again since there were a lot, but I can answer questions if there are any confusions at it. I'm not making any excuses for her. I'm simply telling you guys the explanation that a lot of you have been wanting. I suggested marriage to Ace or parents as they were making some threats that would ruin girlfriend's life, and despite how she's acted recently, we were together for 7 years and I couldn't fathom her life being ruined that she worked hard for, especially being pregnant with our child. Our feelings aren't, nor are we looking to get into a relationship, but we do have some kind of relationship for our child. If my friends wanted to press charges against her, I would be in support, because if someone else hit her, I would, but they haven't and have chosen to forgive while keeping a distance from, as we were before the situation. I understand the situation is aggravating, and so a lot of you feel strongly, but let's try and remember I am a person. When you're leaving unnecessarily mean comments and sending death threats to my unborn child, I will no longer be responding nor posting further here. Thank you for those who have been supportive and suggestive, as that has been helpful. Enjoy the rest of your night, everyone.